with which to work with, just above 2 minutes here. And what the computer thinks is a fairly even board state. Obviously, I see a black rook under threat there with that most recent bishop move over to the H file there by Magnus Carlsen, waiting for Fabiano to find an answer.
And Jan Nepomniachtchi started a trend. Everyone's castling now.
Yeah.
Both sides have castled. Note how Fabiano's king has gone the long way. It's gone the whole other way to the side of the board. And a sacrifice from Fabi. This looks beautiful for black. Look at black's bishops. He's now down rook for bishop, but he's going for the white king, and the white king is sitting in the firing line from 2 of black's soldiers here. It looks like a great sacrifice. Very promising from Fabiano.
It looks incredible right now because the black queen is about to join the attack as well. You know, once it slides over on the same file as that white king, you're putting some big threats on that tender b3 pawn. Yes, you've given up some material, but who cares about that when you're coming for, well, the king's king, Magnus's king in this place. That bishop at the corner that you were highlighting, you know, it hasn't made a single move, but it's going to be the star piece of this attack that Fabi's just started with this last sacrifice.
Yeah, I'll say it in simple terms. Magnus has just been outplayed totally in this game. Earlier, we left it. He'd taken a bit of a risk in the opening, but it's backfired, and Fabiano, he's been on the attack ever since, and great sacrifice. He's not actually down that much material. It's just rook for bishop, but this bishop in the corner is easily worth a rook right now on this diagonal. So many vulnerable dot squares. Black's king super safe as well for now, for the foreseeable future. Magnus needs to go into defensive mode, but okay, he pushes a pawn forward.
That feels like the opposite of defensive mode to me.
Tanya, your move, queen b4, threatens to push a pawn forward with check, kicking the white king away from the defense of its rook. Everything's going to fall on this diagonal. They just look like dominoes.
It also doubles down on that central pawn, right? Suddenly the bishop is threatening to pick up a very key pawn in the position as well. I like that move. But, you know, Magnus's last move, it's just to change sort of the core of the position. You play something on the other side to distract your opponent, to create this idea that there might be threats that you need to take care of. It's desperation. It doesn't work. But can Fabi stay focused on Magnus's king? Yes, he can.
He can, and Magnus sits back. Normally when Magnus sits back, it's like, whoa, I've just missed something.
Can we sacrifice that rook now? The c3 rook? Well, he doesn't want to. Take it back.
He defends the rook across the board. That's a very strong multi-purpose move. Also defends this pawn indirectly. Black cannot capture. There would have been some trades, and at the end, the black rook would have fallen, and Fabiano making a big mistake, apparently. Ooh. Wow.
Why?
You'll have to explain that one to me. I don't see it.
That's the most natural move in the world, trying to crack open this diagonal for the black bishop forcibly. Okay, I don't think I would find this in a million years, but the best move for Magnus is to step. Okay, he finds it. To step this rook forward. This rook was previously unable to use the square. It could have been captured by the black queen due to a pin along the b file. But now, the white
the other
queen,
rook hanging?
the white queen hits this rook and
with a check.
Yeah.
And Fabi missed it.
Rooks.
Fabi completely missed it. He reacted. He leaned back when Magnus played this move. And it's an easy one to miss. Like you said, you know, it's impossible to make this move. Everything's hanging on the board. Magnus finds it, and he's back in the game.
And now he can continue just being greedy here. He can actually take this pawn due to the fact it's untouchable. Again, there's a pin, but the black queen is stuck defending her own rook. Magnus's queen move here was so sneaky. Okay, he doesn't. He continues attacking against Fabiano's king side now.
And, ooh, not one that's approved by the engine, but looks extremely terrifying right now. You hit the bishop. You're about to capture a pawn on the next move. Fabi's running out of time.
Fabiano finds the best move. He tries to open up the king. There was no time to capture the black bishop. We should mention there would have been too many attacks against the white king there.
Yeah, but where does that bishop go? It feels like it only has options to go backwards.
Yeah, he needs to retreat, Fabiano. I would probably retreat to this square just to eye the white rook indirectly, but maybe something to be said for not allowing the bishop to get hit by the wall of white pawns over here, so maybe going back the whole way. He just needs 2 moves, Fabiano. If he gets his bishop to safety and gets this bishop to capture a pawn in the center, he's going to level up the material and keep his attacking chances going. But not easy. Look at the heart rate difference as well. We haven't talked about it so far today. Fabiano is super nervous right now. 155 heart rate, Magnus at around 110.
We haven't seen Magnus exceed 100 too often in freestyle chess.
Yeah.
He usually maintains his baseline of around 70 to 80, no matter what the position is. But here he's feeling the nerves. So the bishop did drop back, and Magnus picks up this rook. Yes, you can capture the rook with the queen because the central pawn is pinned, but that would leave Magnus's queen to slide all the way up the board and pick up that rook with a check.
Yeah, but so much more pressure being felt here by Fabiano. Again, still winless, still scoreless, I should say, even in this tournament so far.
5 seconds. He's
Make
got
a
to
move.
There he goes. Does
Whoa.
manage to make a move with just 2 seconds on the clock, buying himself 10 more, up to 12 in total with that pawn push.
And, okay, bishops suddenly get traded in the center of the board. Magnus just trying to eliminate as many of Fabiano's attackers as possible. Maybe not the best for Magnus, but definitely the safest. And he's still up rook for bishop, Magnus, so stakes high for Fabiano.
And while we're going to stick with this one because it is such a high-intensity matchup, but it matters, there
4
2
seconds.
results have come through on the other boards. Just to let you all know at home, Gukesh actually taking the victory over Arjun Erigaisi to get a full point in his favor. And Jan Nepomniachtchi does wrap it up against Vincent Keimer as we expected him to do, taking a victory there as well.
And Magnus, he just keeps Fabi's bishop locked in. The queen plays the role of blocking that pawn from moving forward. He doesn't care about that last move. I think he can go pawn hunting himself with his own rook, because taking that pawn in front of the white king, you either become an umbrella or you end up trading pieces. Both happy options for white. This has turned around completely in Magnus's favor. I don't think this is where Fabi gets on the scoreboard. This is not going to be that game.
He had such a good position when we joined it, though. As soon as the clocks ticked down, Fabi just lost his bearings almost, and he missed those tactics, that geometry from the white queen earlier. But for Fabi, it just shows he's not in great form. And Magnus now, he really should be closing this one out. There's still no direct threats against the white king. And as you say, Tanya, he can just get pawn hungry here. And wow, he pushes his b-pawn forward.
I wondered about that. I mean, it feels so scary, but to your earlier point, he had defenders.
But you just pick it up with a check. What does he want?
He's going to hide his king. No more checks. He's going to hide it on a light square.
That feels wrong, David. You know, you've just given a move. You've opened up the B line.
Yeah, I would never have dreamt of the move like that, but Magnus is very creative. Still not bad, but the advantage has diminished. Fabiano down at 5 seconds again, though.
Make a move, Fabi.
Oh, and he's
It
just...
this feels like kind of a waiting move there just to get time back, and the computer hates it.
Could have saved his pawn in the center. The white rook are now grabbing that pawn. That's not just any old pawn. The white rook on the 7th rank has so many targets.
Technically,
towards the
that
black
pawn
king.
is, now blocked, right? So the queen can't slide over there just yet, but we could start throwing our pawns forward. Instead, it'll be a queen trade of all things with a check to follow here with the pawn, but now the king will slide behind that pawn and use it as a shield against black's rook.
This is just delaying the inevitable. Now you're down in exchange. White's got this 3 versus 1 pawn majority on the right side. The pawns on the left side that Fabi has will come under pressure with White's king moving forward as well. He does it, attacking that pawn. How are you going to defend it? This was like throwing in the towel. Once you trade the queens, you don't survive this endgame. Not against the world number 1.
Yeah, this one looking hopeless now for Fabiano. Magnus slides across. He's actually threatening a checkmate attack now against the black king on the back rank. And one last trick on the diagonal of Caruana about to resign. There we go. Magnus takes it. A huge turnaround in the game, but Fabiano still on 0 out of 3.
Yeah, big win for Magnus there, but a tremendously difficult start here for Fabiano on day 1 of the tournament in Paris, our only scoreless or winless player here at the moment. Really, really tough. 0 out of 3, but we still have 2 more games in play, because as I say that, one more result comes in. MVL will take a decisive win over Prague over on their board. We are left with Noterbeck, Abdusatorov versus